You guys
That's good. That's why I don't announce it until 5 minutes before the event starts. And you can't always assume that I'm going to be here.
I'll listen to you on the radio. There's an app. What happens is you can listen to Montgomery County Courts.
That's enough. Yeah, I listen to it all the time.
I don't know. I put it out there 3 weeks ago. But I knock it off.
Yes. No. ATT. See, CDMA you can't. No, but the voice doesn't tell me. What am I doing? The video is flipped, so I need to fix that. And how do I fix that? And it's going to be not in there, it's going to be in the Logitech.
He was turned right to the side of her, over her car and killed himself. I don't know.
We're looking at your cross. Oh, yes,
Thank you, Rob.
Hey, look, you had to come over here and set up the room.
All right,
I was in charge of the room. I was in charge.
All right, guys.
Look, there it is.
Oh, real good.
For that. Listen, I don't want everybody to
You know what? To the must be a Coast Guard education.
Right. Gotta get away with little.
I don't want everybody running up to the front of the room just yet, but please, before you leave tonight, make sure that if you're not signed in, you do sign in so that we have your proper records going on, okay? Mr. Pumphrey,
Yes, sir.
need me to stall any more for you?
No.
There you go, floor is yours.
All right. Thank you all for coming. Again, make sure everyone is signed in. I'm just going to take a minute or two and then get out of the way. We have a special guest here this evening. We'll introduce him in a second. But for those of you that have taken a look at last week's CFO quiz, there, thank you, John. I'll step out of the way. You'll notice the first three questions revolve around 6-3-11, which Mr. Redding has kind of snuck in on us as he changed this year without really bringing it to our attention, which is, I'm sure, why it's on the first week CFO quiz. You can see the 2013 on the right is what your printed rule book is going to show. The 2014 version is what's been changed. He's deleted about half of what was in there, and it's not just your cosmetic editorial change. It actually changes the enforcement of fouls when we have a bat coming out of the end zone. Now it's if a scrimmage kick untouched by B after crossing the neutral zone is batted in Team B's end zone by a player of A. So again, that's when he's reaching back and batting it back into the field of play. It's a violation for illegal touching, Rule 632. The spot of the violation is Team B's 20-yard line. This is a special case of batting in the end zone and is not a foul. And there are actually 3 new ARs, even though this only mentions 2. And when we go to our CFO quiz later on, we'll take a look at it towards the end of our meeting tonight. You'll see that it definitely has changed. There are 3 new ARs. If you look, it's 6-3-11-1, 4, and 5 are all new and have changed from what we have. So if you're looking at a 2013-14 rule book, the ones that were printed last year, it's not going to have this. You've got to go to the brand new online version, or if you did get a printed 14 one, then it will have these. But we'll discuss this towards the end of tonight. I don't want to take up too much time right now. We have actually we're going to go to Bob first. Bob.
Sir.
We're going to go to you now.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Hey, hey guys, it's here. Y'all been waiting for it, right? Season's here. Oh, good God, last call. Have fun. Everybody in here, I'm sure, has a couple of games under their belt as far as schedule's concerned. You're all looking forward to it. A couple of things real quick. Some of you guys are on medication. I know I said it at the clinic down at the chapter, but please, 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 everybody carries a game card. Everybody. There's not an official on the planet anywhere from Pop Warner through the NFL that doesn't carry a game card. If you're on meds, write your medicine down. Stick it in your game card. If I can bail your ass out before the medic sticks something in you, I don't need to know what you're on, but somebody does. So if you're flopping around on a football field, I want to know about it, okay? Put it in your game card so you can bail yourself out, okay? I think that's very important, so make sure you do that.
The other thing you can do is to fill out medical information, put it in a sealed envelope, have other guys on your crew do the same thing, give that to the head trainer before the game, get it back after the game. If I go down, they know to look at Jeff Pumphrey's envelope, and they can look up any of the information. You know, if I'm fine, at the end of the game, we get them all back. We just do the same thing next week, but it should be sealed. You know, there are HIPAA laws, and I don't know if any of you are doctors or lawyers, but all of that's got to be private and sealed. But not a bad idea to put that information together, and get it to the head trainer to get it back each game.
Jeff, even better, put it in a plastic bag, put it on the clipboard with the penalty report on the back, and you don't have to worry about forgetting it with the trainer.
Okay.
Another thing, I don't know about you guys, but I've already kissed my wife goodbye, and I will not see her till the first week of December. I hope you all follow the same suit, because
Kissing your wife.
I did.
you take notes. She needs all the help she can get.
Remember, you're live on YouTube.
Without her support, you don't have much in this business. So it's very, very important to keep the people that love you. They understand what you're doing. It's a gigantic commitment. So, make sure you're as nice to them as you can during the season. More importantly, when the season's over, something nice for Christmas goes a long way. Valentine's coming. Plan on that stuff. Take good care of them, okay? It's really important. The business climate of football, we all see it from the NFL down. It's changing. It's constantly changing. Just be flexible. Do what you're asked to do. Don't stir the pot too bad. And like Rogers Redding said at your clinic 2 years ago in the CIP, stop overthinking stuff. It's okay. Everything will be okay. Just go out and do it. You know what you got to do. Just go do it, okay? The business end will figure itself out. And, of course, Milt will talk a little more of that when he gets his shot. So it's all changing. Glenn, anything to add?
I think, the only couple of things I would say is do what you can to watch film. Try to get some time to watch film. Watch film of yourself. Watch film of other people that work your position. Just so you get an idea of what you're doing right and what you're doing wrong. And find someone to watch your film for you. We have between the chapter, between our affiliation with the Tom Beard Clinic, between our affiliation with the ECFOA, we have enough contact with people at all levels of football and all people that are willing to help you out. So I had a play this past weekend that I didn't make a call. I've already had 4 people look at it. Unfortunately, 3 of them told me I was right, 1 of them told me I was wrong, so the one that told me I was wrong is still sticking in my head about it. But have some people look at your stuff. Let them tell you what you're doing right and what you're doing wrong. But look at yourself and critique yourself. I'm looking around the room. Everyone looks like they're in pretty good shape. And that's good at the beginning of the season. And I can tell you from personal experience last year, by the end of the season, I wasn't in the shape I was in at the beginning of the season. Because I was starting to get a little bit tired. And I stopped, I slowed down my workouts during the week. Got to stay from beginning to end. Beginning to end, you got to keep conditioning. I'm not saying you got to kill yourself and knock yourself out, but make sure you're at the end of the season you look as good as you did at the beginning of the season. And like Bob said, have fun. We got 12 weeks of regular season ahead of us, I think. Enjoy it. Enjoy it to the fullest. That's it for me.
I will let you introduce our guest speaker for this evening.
I don't know how you introduce a legend, but it's like introducing the Godfather. A lot of these faces, I had come through classes at Towson. You guys probably remember Milt's picture from that first day up on the board. That was probably the first time you ever saw the man. And I told you, this guy runs the East Coast, and he does. You go anywhere in the country, you say Milt Halstead, hey, everybody knows who he is. All right, if you end up having to move, and you work for Milt now, all you gotta do is call Milt up and say, can you help me out? He knows everybody. Okay. He's done a lot of things in moving officials up. A lot of people have come up through his ranks. Of course, I started there, and you know, come all the way to the AEC, and that's with his help. You know, Gerald, I went through Gerald first, and then Terry picked me up from there. So it's been a great ride, and I'm sure he's got a list of people who he's helped through the years, and that list has got to be, I don't know, it's like Santa Claus's list. But, you know, luckily, he's been recognized for his good work in officiating. This year, he got the Dave Perry Award, and which is the highest honor, I guess, in college football, I would say. So, without further ado, Mr. Milt Halstead.
First of all, thanks for allowing me to come here. I've been on the road for 2 weeks, covering a lot of scrimmages, a lot of games. I did 11 last week. I'm going to do 9 this week. And he's right about the wife. Luckily, I'm married 44 years, so I don't have that problem anymore. I hear more from my daughter, my granddaughter, than I do from my wife. But this is a good chapter. There's a lot of good officials in this chapter, a lot of good officials in this area. Way back, this was a tough area to try to negotiate, but it's worked out. You got, I don't know how many leaders you got, but you got 2 so-called directors. I don't deal with those guys no more. They have a meeting, they invite me to the meeting, they want to know what I'm going to do. And, basically, I'm a creature of habit. I had a good teacher by the name of Al Benson, and he said, stick with what you know and stick with what made you successful. And that's exactly what I do. I do things not for the comfort of me, but for the comfort of the officials. I work for the schools, I work for the coaches, I work for the ADs, but my job is the officials. I really don't have that much to do once the crews are done. Me and only me puts the crews together. Me and only me does the assignments. I have assistants that do everything else, but nobody touches that but me. I take all the guys that I'm thinking of putting together, and believe it or not, I've already started on 2015. 2014 is done for me, okay? I have an enormous amount of clinics that I've been invited to. I think I'm biting off a little bit more than I really want to chew this year, but these are guys that I'm very close with. These are guys that are taking guys from me left and right. I'm the only assigner in the country that has an official in every major conference in the United States. I'm the only assigner that has 7 officials working in the Canadian League and 11 working in the NFL. Last year, I had 19 guys work major bowl games. And I'm not blowing my horn. I'm trying to explain to you, when you start at the bottom and you build a guy up the right way, by this stuff. Guys that are teaching, films, I do things that I feel are going to benefit you, not me. It's over for me. I'm 73. I turned 73 yesterday. It's over for me. I'm on the downside of the ladder. I got a boss that just gave me a new contract last year for the rest of my life. LOL, I never knew that's what the hell it meant. I had to ask Herbie Staten, what the hell is this? He said, it's a lifetime contract. So, and I was honored to do that. She didn't have to do that. And, you know, this ain't about money. I don't make money. I mean, you know, and it's no big secret. I get $150 a school to do all this work in Division 2 and 3. $150 a school. That's all I get. I spent last year $10,870 on observers for you guys, not for me. It's for you guys. Where does the excess money come from? Good friend of mine, Vice President officiating, Dean Blandino. He gave me some funds. You guys paid dues. I let Diane handle that, or Dennis Krim handle it. That's where it comes from. I don't want it. I don't need it. It's clean money, but it's for you guys. It enhances in what you're doing. I had Diane give me some numbers. You know, I'm a numbers guy. I'm going to show you how I do different things. I'm not like him. I don't carry that thing. I don't carry that thing. They tell me it's faster. You can put it all on there and get in it. By the time I open that sucker, I got all I want here, all color coordinated. So I don't do that. I guess these numbers are right. Diane told me we got 48 total from this chapter that's on our roster. 48 guys. We got 5 and 2 in Division 1, and 2 more I'm going to be moving up. Okay. I just told him tonight. Jeff's 1, and where's the other guy? Field. Fields had a game last week up at Sacred Heart. I'm just going to, can I tell a story? Sure. Okay.
Say no?
So what I do normally in Division 1, I send 2 observers. I send what I call a known and an unknown. His position, I sent one of the best guys in his position from the NFL who was off. And he was glad to go. So I had him, you know, I don't want to tell you his name, but I don't want to slip here either. So he sends a report. Diane prints it out, and she says, holy God, she says, this guy you want to move to Division 1? I said, yeah, what's in that? She said he wrote 4 pages on it. I said, all right, highlight it. So I just wanted to highlight the stuff that he wrote. So one of the things that jumped out at me, since then I've watched the film, did a great job. And I told him, so one of the plays, there was a twin formation to one side and a guy in a slot. Actually, there was trips to one side and a guy in a slot. And play goes, play is going all the ways down the field. I see my back judge get spun around, not knocked on the ground. He got turned around completely. So I stopped and I ran it back. And in my mind, I'm sitting there. You got to understand something. I put it up on flat screen TV. My wife's in the next chair reading because I normally do that. And I just blurted out, Peel, what the hell are you doing? So my wife didn't know his name was Peel. She said, are you literally telling that TV to peel something? So that's the moral. And it's kind of funny. So I said to him tonight, he had the right answer, by the way. I asked him if he remembered the play. Oh, no, I didn't do that. That's logically what an unhonest guy would do. He owned up to it. So he's going to get another game. So that's the moral to what you have to do. I'm a firm believer in honesty, trustworthy, and I tell the guys there's 5 things you have to do in football. I do it at the clinic all the time. And I adhere to that, and I want the guys to adhere to it. Nobody's perfect. When I sit down with the coaches, I don't have any coaches that don't come up and give me a hug. Not one. They all do it. It's called respect. And that's because, I won't lie to them, they'll call up, can you look at these 2 clips, 3 clips? Yeah, what do you want to do it? I'll buy you coffee tomorrow morning. Okay, what time? How about 5:45? I'm there, 5:45. Yo, coach, what are you, crazy? It's too early. No, you don't go that early. Go look at it. Coach, you're wrong. Boom, 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 boom. Coach, you're right. On 1, you're wrong on 2. And it's over. You know what that does for me? I don't have to write it up. My word is golden, and it's over. Observer, you got to get into Zebra Web. He's got to type it all up. He's got to do this. Screw that stuff. I ain't doing that shit. So I go there. I do the same thing with officials. Do the same thing with officials. If I need to tell an official something, I'm going to tell him at that point. I'm not going to wait. And once I tell him, it's over, and it's between me and him. I had a conversation with him tonight about something because he's moving to Division 1. That's between me and him and nobody else. Nobody will ever know it. Nobody knows what goes on in my organization but me and Diane. She's the only one. No one else. God never made a perfect official. He also never made a perfect coach. He made one perfect person. They nailed him to a cross many years ago. And that's the way it is. It's not a game. It's a game to you. It's a game to the kids. It's a business to the universities. Scholarships, income, revenue. So that's how you have to look at it. That's how I look at it. That's why when you pile everything up, you bring it all in. You have to do those kinds of things. There's different things that go on. Ed asked me an interesting question tonight. What's the average age? What's the average age a guy stays in football? Does anybody know? Take a guess, take a stat.
An official?
Yeah.
15.
Huh?
Average
Age. Come on. No, not age. Years in being a football official. Not age.
15?
3.
Okay. The average age in 2 and 3 is 27.8 years. The average age in Division 1 is 22.3. I'm a numbers guy. I'm crazy with them. God rest his soul, Mike McCann used to help me do a lot of this stuff. And now I got Diane doing some of it and working some of the stuff out. Films is your shortest way to success. It's your shortest way. When you look at films, you can see the whole picture. Not only can you see the whole picture, you can stop it and rewind it. Does anybody have any idea how long it takes to break a complete film down? Who wants to take a shot at that? How long do you think it takes to break a complete film down?
4 hours. 3 to 4 hours.
Okay. My average is 4:18. My guys, it's an average about 4:15. I'm like 3 minutes more, 4 minutes less, whatever. I go through all the fouls first. There's a system that we use. I go through all the fouls. Now, if there's a targeting call, that's top of the list, that's first. Then we go through all the fouls. Then I go by quarter. Things I miss, I jot down, or I have a tape recorder, okay? Line judge out of position, line judge leaving too soon. Then I go back and I go over that. And I'll say 220 first quarter. Then go back and relook it, and then write it up. That's doing a total analysis of somebody. It's costly to do in 2 and 3, but it's done on every guy in Division I. Every guy. I literally get out to see. There isn't anybody I hire that I don't look at, either in person or on film. And then get the NEC guys observed all the time. And you have to do that. I got a tough horse. I mean, she's a rocket, but she's never said no to me. Never said no, as God is my judge. I went in there, and I remember saying to her, when she first came on, we need to talk about fees. Okay, put a thing together and give it to me. I'll buy you lunch. I said, okay, how much time you need? This was a Wednesday. I said, I don't know. She said, okay, I'll see you Friday. We'll have lunch. She gave me a day and a half to put it together. I put it together. Sat down with Noreen, sat down with a couple other people. We went over the fees. I took all the other fees, CAA, all of them, Patriot, Ivy, Missouri Valley, took all the fees. And we were like the bottom of the ladder. I wanted to get up in the middle of the ladder and then eventually get closer to the top of the ladder. So I wrote the numbers up. I slid them to Diane. See, I'm giving you a little bit of history because, you know, it's the best way guys can learn and know. So Diane looked at that and she said, you think you're going to get this through? I said, yeah. She said, when are you going? I said, Friday. We're going to have lunch. She said, you better stop at the church and light 5 candles. So I went up there and I laid it all out. She only asked me one question. Ben Shove is the guy that I actually answered to. He's a football guy in the office. He said, if you get this, I'm hiring you to be my agent. That's what he said to me before we went in. So she looked it all over. She said, I'm going to ask you one question. I said, okay, ask me 2 or 3. Guys deserve this? I said, yeah. She said, on what level? How did you come up with these numbers? I said, I took the average across the country, I whacked it, and then added 10%. She took the paper, she initialed it, she put the date, give it to Michelle, tell her to put it in the manual. She says, tell you guys they got the raise. So this year they get 7, that's a contract that we're working on now. And in fact, when she just brought it up to me, we're going to renegotiate it next year. They get 700 this year, 750 next year, then 800 the following year. So I just put a new contract together where we're going to 875, 9 1/4, 950. So, and I think I'm going to get it done. That's all these guys you see in here that are Division I guys. How many guys in here in Division I? There's 5 years. 1, 2, 3, 4. One missing.
Ratliff.
Ratliff emailed me and said, don't ever show Bob Heffron's crotch on the live stream again. So he's watching.
Oh,
Ratliff's watching.
All right, let me get back to where I was. So basically, that's the nuts and bolts. The new guys coming in have been very good from all areas. The last 2 or 3 weeks have been a little bit trying. I released 5 guys, and my release is just take them out of the system and get rid of them and kiss them goodbye. Let them go back. They could become somebody else's headache because I don't have time for that. When I have a game that gets changed from 1 o'clock to 6 o'clock because the school's able to pick up some money for being put on television. I have a guy call up and tell Diane that her and me made a mistake. Why are we doing this? His girlfriend made dinner reservations for 2 other couples. So I should do now that I didn't do anything. He called back, and I had Jimmy King call me. He said, "No, I want to talk to Milt." So he got a better shot getting cancer. So I said to Diane, just don't pay no attention to him. I was down the beach. I came up from the beach. So we're going over different things. His name comes up. I said, keep that thing up. Laptop. It's on the desk. Turns it on. Boom, boom, boom. Say, get in Zebra. So how many games you got? Got 9. Take them out of all 9 games. Took them out of all 9 games. I said, now go to administration. Uh-oh. I said, no uh-ohs. Hit the delete button. He's gone. He's out of here. There's no second chances for that stuff. Because he made a direct call. Now, he ain't from this area. But in this area, we got Heffron, we got Pat, the guy in the back, these 2 guys up front. Run it through them first. To me, that's not a legitimate reason. You're going to go out to dinner with your girlfriend. What are you, crazy? I mean, he should have even lied a little bit and said it was his wife or his fiance. But that's not the moral of the picture. That sends a message out to everybody else. There's no need for that. If you got to talk to me, it's probably over and it's too late. And it's like, I was telling somebody up here, I don't know what we were talking about, he mentioned something, and I said, by the time it comes to me, I'm done with it. I only handle personal stuff. I don't handle nothing else. I don't handle, once the games begin, I focus on the new people. I focus on who I'm going to be bringing in. The veteran guys, they know us. They've been around here. There's no problem with what they're doing, how they're doing it. And I appreciate that. It takes a lot of time. You know how many games I put together this year? I assigned 328 games. Times 7 men, times 27 crews. And everybody's got full schedules. And I see to that. And one guy don't have all this, and one guy, and you know what I take in consideration? Travel. And I don't want anybody traveling by themselves. That's why I put teams together. I was almost at the referees meeting in February, because Jay, the head coach at Rowan, came to the meeting and he told me about the expansion. I'll tell you guys about that, because it's down here. So I brought it up to a couple of referees. Thank God there's a couple of real smart ones in the group. So we broke for lunch. Steve Keller comes up to me and says, "Boss, can I have a word with you?" I said, "Yeah. We don't want you to do that. You got a reason why?" "Yeah, why do you need to bring new people in? And why do you need to subdivide the group?" I said, "Okay." Does everybody agree with that? I said, and he said, "Yeah." I said, "All right, this is all the referees. How about the other 6 guys?" He said, "Well, you always told us if they don't go along with the program, just unload them." So what I put out, they throw right back at me. So what happened is, the schools down here, Salisbury, Southern Virginia University, Frostburg, Wesley, Christopher Newport, I forget some of the others. I don't know, there's a couple more. After it's all said and done, there's 7 schools. Next year I pick up 52 more games. So they brought these schools in. They got rid of Buffalo, Rockport, Morrisville, Cortland, all the schools in New York. Instead, their original plan was to go north. Then they decided, for some reason, they didn't decide, somebody had an in with somebody. And I think it's a couple of the coaches, you know, bringing these other schools in. So they're bringing all these schools in from ODAC and wherever else they are. I don't know what conference they're in or where they were from. The only one I'm assigning this year is Wesley. So the commissioner, I drove to his home in Pittman. We sat down and we laid this all out because he's bringing all these athletic directors from these schools up to Newark at the Marriott. So I sat down, he said, get all your stuff in your head ready. He said, I don't need to tell you what you got to do. You know what you have to do. So the one guy said to me, you need to call this coach. I'm not going to mention any names. I said, okay. He said, he's got some concerns, and a couple of them have seems like all the same concerns. So they had 3 big complaints. The number one complaint with most of them was officiating. The other was travel, and the other was assignments and finding games, policy, not being kept up to date on the rules, not getting any teaching from the person that's doing the assigning. So I called this one coach, and he was busy. He said, can you call me back later today? I said, yeah. So I called him back later. He said, can you call me 9 o'clock tonight? I said, yeah. So I gave him the number. I said, you call me when you're ready. It's right in my office. I said, there'll be nobody in there, just me and you. I'll put you on a speakerphone. I'll take notes, and I'll answer whatever I can answer. So he said, I did some research on you. I said, well, you ain't the first and you won't be the last. He said, and he proceeds to tell me I got a hell of a resume, boom, boom, boom. He says, I want to know one thing. And I said, I thought you called to ask me questions. Is this an interview? And he said, no. He said, it's going to lead up to what I'm getting to. I said, okay. He says, how do you keep 61 coaches so happy? I says, I don't know. And I really don't know. So the long to the short, I said, all right, start giving me the stuff. He said, you work in crews. I said, yeah. He said, the same crews never go to the same school in the same calendar year. Never have the same game in 2 calendar years if you can help it. Is that correct? I said, yes. Right away, he said to me, you're going to have a problem down here. I said, no, I ain't. I said, I ain't having no problem down there. I said, now, I want you to elaborate, seeing you didn't ask me a question. You gave me a direct statement. You're playing the part of an attorney. I said, so explain to me what it is. How many times am I going to see the same guy? I said, I just told you once in a calendar year. Not 2, not 3. How about home and away? I said, it ain't working. I said, the system in ZebraWeb is set up where I can't put the same guy in the same school more than once. I have to override it if it's away. So he liked that. He was happy with that. He was happy with the rules. He was happy with sending somebody down. So, and then and I'm not going to, get into the other stuff. He just gave me a whole bunch of reasons why he is so upset. Then I find out, I'm talking to the guy at Frostburg. It was like I could have recorded what the hell was on my phone from the other guy and put this guy in his place. His big concern was he's never seen anybody do this stuff from anywhere. I said, you kidding? Never, he said. So I called Dan Carr in Pittsburgh. You guys know Dan Carr. This is his last year on the field. He's also one of my right arms out there. So I took him, Wayne Freed, and a couple other guys, and sent them to Frostburg State 2 weeks ago. And what they did was, they had a big rules and Q&A with all the players and all the coaches. About 3 days later, I got a basket of fruit and the biggest thank you card I've ever seen. But it's all in doing what you're supposed to be doing. That's what it's all about. And I'm not buying, this guy sucks, this guy's good. I'll be the judge of that. I'll be the judge of that. And, you know, you can't learn everything. I have the same problem sometimes with the clinic. People tell me it's too long, it's this, it's that. That's what I want. That's the way it's going to stay. Makes you a better official, it makes me look good. I keep getting trophies. So, it ain't what the hell I'm doing, it's what you guys are doing on the field. So, that's probably the basis. As far as new guys moving up, you got a great advantage because I'm losing guys left and right. Left and right, I'm losing guys. My good friend Bill Carolla just called me yesterday, and he's taking another one of my guys. He's going to give him 3 games this year, and he's probably going to take him for 7 or 8 next year. So I called the individual. He didn't know it yet. And he sent him to a couple of scrimmages. He was down in Maryland with McGinn and a couple other places. Were you in that scrimmage? Were you? Was Stabilio there?
He came to one.
Yeah. So, see, how'd I know that? So, he's a good young official. Okay? He's a little bit concerned because, you know, guys who wear the white hat, they think they're the kings. If it wasn't for the other 6 guys, they'd suck. Absolutely. That's what I tell them. So a lot of them have a hard time moving. He had a hard time moving. Anybody that moves that 8th position or that odd position, there's a reason for it. I don't bring anybody in as a referee. I don't bring anybody in. I got to bite my tongue because I'm doing it this year. Where's Cannon? He's the only one I'm bringing in as a referee. But that's the way things go. So you have to fill it. You have to move. And Stabilio's in Division I, so I got a limit. I don't like to rotate people in there. And I also have another policy. I work from within. Okay? What does that mean? If you come in from high school or you just started with me, you work all the way up the ladder, you'll make it to Division I, and you'll move on. You'll have my blessing, and that's it. Once you move on, you get dropped, you ain't coming back to the NEC. You can come back and work, but you're not coming back at Division I. I don't play that game. You guys work too hard to move up, but you gotta understand something. When you get started, it's like an 8-lane highway, and it narrows down to a 2-lane road. And it's hard. There's a lot of officials out there. I had 97 guys apply this year. And Diane has a system. And the system is zip codes. So the guys from Florida, Ohio, Michigan, Maine, way down there in Virginia, okay, I'm going to get to that too. I just wipe them out because the bulk of our games are up here. Pennsylvania, Jersey, they're all up in this area. And for me to take a guy way down there, it's just not going to work. About 6 months ago, I came back from one of those clinics. I go in, I said, everything okay? You're going to laugh at this. She says, you got to read this. This is really comical. I said, what is it? She said, you know that doctor from Palm Beach, Florida? I said, yeah. I said, I told him I wasn't taking it. She said, read this thing. He's got a whole crew and a Gulfstream 6 to fly up here. I said, you kidding me? She said, read it. So I read the thing. This guy's a big time, some kind of doctor for the head. I don't know what he does, but evidently he's got a ton of money, got his own private plane. So he wanted to make a deal with me. The deal was, just get the 6 guys paid. He didn't want to get paid. He would use his company jet, his private jet. They would fly up, and he would make all the travel arrangements at no cost to me. So I had to call the guy back. I said, Doc, what kind of doctor are you? I'm a neurosurgeon. I said, I think you need some work. So he started laughing. He says, you're really comical. I said, what's the crux of all this? Here's the story in Florida, and I had to get it verified. There's no Division II or III football in Florida. None. None. All them guys have to go out of the state to Alabama or Texas, and it's so full. So I called Dick Meade, who heads up the conference out of New Orleans, all the D2 schools down in there, and he said, Milt, I'm overloaded. I got 2,000 applications. You name the state down south here, we got it. He said, I got guys traveling 700 to 1,000 miles a day to go work a football game. I said, where are you finding these guys? These guys ain't picking peaches and killing alligators in the swamps. I said, who the hell's eating up all this cost? But it's a fact. That's a known fact. So I did a little research myself. Walt Anderson, you guys know Walt Anderson? Anybody know Walt Anderson? Invited me to speak at the Little Rock Clinic in Little Rock, Arkansas. So I went down, but I had other things I was going to do. So I said, Walt, I don't want to do no teaching, no film. He said, you do whatever you want. This is like you and me here. So I started asking the kids that are coming to the clinic. So where do you live? I live in a Panhandle. I didn't know the Panhandle from these bricks. So he tells me it's the upper part of Florida, all the way over here. I said, well, what drives you to come all the way to Little Rock for a clinic? He said, I love football officiating. But he says, I can't seem to get a break. I said, how old are you? He said, I'm 24. And he's been working high school since he was 15. He started working JV. He was a football player. He was working JV as an official because they had to use some coaches. They couldn't get officials. So he told me the whole story. I kind of felt bad for the guy. So I said, look, you're too far. After I talked to the other, and I kind of took a liking to the guy a little bit. So I said, let me see what I can do. So I called my buddy Shaw at the SEC. He said, listen, there's a kid in Florida, Panhandle. Whoa, north of the Mason-Dixon, you using our lingo. I said, so I gave the kid's name. So I said, don't you have some JV or freshman or something like that? He says, yeah, but I used that. I said, look, you're a religious guy. We had a big thing at his house. That's how I know. Had a crucifix, Blessed Mother in there. So I knew he was a kind. I said, why don't you do yourself a favor? When you go to church on Sunday, think of this kid. Well, the moral to the story is, he's using the kid. I don't know what he's got him doing, but he put him on a couple of chain crews down there, and clock guys pay a lot of money. The clock guys at Alabama, what do you think the clock guys get at Alabama? Take a guess.
Ridiculous.
They get $675 a game. So he's got him doing that. The kid that writes down the fouls for the linesman, you know, the card that's supposed to be on the floor. So the kid that writes that down, he gets $250 a game. So he's got this kid doing that, and hopefully Byron will pick him up and, you know, throw him a bone and get him something. It's just too far. You can't help everybody. So let me just show you a little bit And what I do, these are the crews. I carry it, all this stuff I carry with me every day, no matter where I'm at. This is my reading material. These are the regular crews, the way you see it highlighted. This is for 2015, because I'm starting to make changes, okay? These are the supplemental guys down here. These are the guys that I was working on. So you move from here to here, from here to here, and here. This is the supplemental list. This tells me where they live. This tells me how many games they got, what games they got. And I pay attention to this. Along with this, I get the reports on each one. Along with that, before I get into that, you're gonna think I'm nuts. Guys like to hear that stuff. Okay. In the Northeast Conference, every guy has to get a BMI. This is the master report. So I know what every guy is. Along with this, I also get the previous year, if there's an increase or a decrease. This is the weights of all the other guys. In the spring, when I send them a folder, they put how much they weigh. Then we weigh them at the clinic, and I compare them. This is the NEC crews, okay? Ain't too much on here, because I don't make too many changes there, other than a guy moves up, or a guy moves on, or a guy gets sick or retires. This doesn't mean a whole lot, but I look at it constantly. This is the closed book test. This is the 2014 score, the 2013 score. I have 2011 and 2012. And this is what they got out of 25 questions. And this is alphabetically, and I also have it high to low. So it helps me in determining. This is an important sheet. This sheet I go to a lot. This sheet tells me in the fall and in the spring. This is fall. Spring was back in March, April. This tells me how many scrimmages and who worked them. The guy that don't work any scrimmages, and it's mandatory in the NEC, he's going to get a letter. If it proceeds to decline, there's no more letter. He comes out of the system. This I abide by. In the NEC, I don't have a choice. She keeps track of that stuff. She knows who is who and what is what. That's this part. Diane, for the first 3 days, she gives me a printout. This is Thursday night's game, Millersville, 6 o'clock. So she gives me the whole thing about the game and every official with their pictures. Why? 287 guys is why. I can't remember. I have guys come up to me, and don't ever do this. I have guys come up to me and say, how am I doing? Well, first of all, I ain't telling you how you're doing. Second of all, I don't know at that point how you're doing. And if there's an observer there, you know, I'm only there to do politic. I'm there to politic and politic only. So this is Thursday, then this is Friday, there's a double game, and then Saturday. Along with that, on the NEC games, I get a weekly crew list. Okay? This happens to be, guys from here. This is Andy Keenan's crew. This is St. Francis against Clarion, and then Sacred Heart is playing. I just had to send a memo. Some of these guys weren't doing the job. But then again, you know, it's a new referee in Albany, Central Connecticut. See? That's what I get. So I know who's where. I know where they're staying Friday night. I know what time the meeting is. I know what time they're watching film. Why do I need to know that? Then I can play Dick Tracy. But they're grown men, okay? 3 times 7. And if you didn't learn by that level, you ain't never gonna learn. That's the whole crux to it. Other than that, this is a good chapter. You got a lot of good young guys. There's a few guys on this list. I ain't gonna tell you who you are, but you're gonna get put on a crew, you'll get a letter, and if you accept it, fine. You don't accept it, that's fine too. Diane will probably do that. I gotta venture to say sometime. See, I fire everybody in December. And it's a sad, it ain't a sad letter because all the guys are used to it. But I fire everybody, then I hire who I want back. That's so I don't get sued. According to the antitrust laws of the United States, you must fire in the same calendar year a football official or anyone that's part-time. And then you don't have to hire them back the following year. So that's why I set everything up. That's the other question. Why do I get all them forms early in January? It's because I'm too busy doing other things and getting ready for spring football. This year, we had 128 scrimmages. So that's a lot to handle. That's a lot to do. So that's the reason I do that. This is the supplemental list. See Cannon? Where's Cannon? See, you're on there. You're blue and red. That's danger. Blue means you're going to get put on a crew. Red, I've already decided to put you on a crew, or give you a crew in your case. The last and final thing, then I'll open it up to any questions you guys have. Did I ever officiate? Everybody seems to want to know that question. I don't know why. I've been doing this job for 26 years. I'm only the 3rd guy in this position from the ECFOA. Yes, I did officiate. I was in Division I for 26 years. Everybody says, what's your most memorable game? My most memorable game is where I had a coach that thought I cost them the touchdown and cost them to win the game. And it was Penn State at Virginia in Charlottesville. It was a 6-0 football game. And Penn State was winning. And they're coming down a score. And what happened is he stepped out of bounds. The 2-yard line, the right foot hit the line. I'm blowing a whistle, doing this, and this guy's in the air, leaping in the end zone. That guy's down. Back then it was 6 men. There were 2 guys down there doing this. Joe Paz, happy as a pig in shit, God rest his soul. I'm blowing a whistle, I'm doing this. How many guys know Joe Arno? Joe Arno was a referee. So he comes down, he says, what do you got? So he stepped out of bounds here. He's shaking his head. I'm not going to ask you if you're sure because you're going to tell me you were, even if you weren't. With that, Joe Parker, he says, here comes the Italian stallion. Mr. Halstead. I'm going to tell you one thing. If that don't show up on film, and I find out that to be an incorrect call, right now it's a tie football game. They're going to go. I'm going to lose this game. See that clock up there? I said, oh yeah, it's all zeros. That's right. He said, the damn thing ran out. He said, so I'm telling you, if he didn't step out, your ass is grass, and I'm the goddamn lawnmower. I'll never forget that as long as I live. He called me Sunday night. He said, God bless you. Stop up. He said, we'll have a glass of bourbon. So I don't drink. He said, that's your problem. Have a great day. And we remained friends for a lot of years. So that's basically it. I retired in '97. And when I retired, they asked me what game did I want. And I took the Lehigh Lafayette game with a referee today that's moved really on. My referee that year was the lawyer from Syracuse, Denny Hennigan. I don't know where he is now. Is he in the ACC? I don't know where the hell he is. Where's the Hennigan? ACC. Yeah. He was my referee for 4 years. I worked my final game with him, Lehigh Lafayette. And that was it. I've had some good games. I worked the 100th anniversary Yale-Harvard games. I was the first linesman to work an American NCAA football sanctioned game in Europe at Wimbledon Stadium. So, and I have that plaque hanging on my wall too. My office just has a ton of stuff. My kids and my grandkids, I guess. You know. But my wife says, I'm putting all that shit in a box. But life's good. Life's good. I'm happy with life. I really am. I might get mad, I might yell, I might do that, but it's all in the game. I did it all, I've seen it all, and I've been all. So with that being said, anybody got any questions? No questions? I can't believe this.
Well, now's your chance.
You can ask me anything, seriously. Don't be afraid either.
Were you ever in the Lafayette?
That's good. That's good.
He don't have to worry about his.
Right, he said he can say whatever he wants.
You know, I'll tell you the story about the mafia. That comes up. Before I took over, it wasn't the ECFOA. And I did not want this job. I got a call from Dr. Carpenter, Gene Carpenter from Millersville, who was a football coach in the AD, and I got a call from Frank Girardi, who was the football coach in AD at Lycoming. They had one for the state schools and one for all the other schools. He said, we need to talk to you. God rest his soul, Tom Farr was the guy before me. He had cancer and he was dying. He wasn't doing the paperwork. He wasn't doing anything. He was just letting everything just go in the trash can. So I said, I'm leaving. I said, I got a game. I got to go. Where's the game? So that particular weekend, I had Boston College and Holy Cross in Chestnut Hill. And by the way, it was the last time they played each other. Pouring rain. We need to talk to you about something. So I said, Coach, I haven't worked in your league. It's got to be 15 years. It ain't got nothing to do about working. Yeah, it does have something to do about working, but not working football. So when I come back, I called them. I met them at Valley Forge. They drove down. And I won't forget this either. They had a yellow legal pad and a white legal pad. And they said, we want you to take over. I said, God, Tom Farr's still living. He says he's not doing the work. He said, on the yellow pad, put all the good things that you think you need and to accomplish to keep this job and make it better and make us the best Division II and III conferences in the country. On the white list, put all the things that you think why you shouldn't be doing this job. I said, okay. So I take the two pads, I put them in the front seat of my car and think to myself, how the hell am I going to explain this to my wife? I had a business then. I had 3 businesses then. I had a towing business, I had a body shop, and I had an appraisal company. So I get back, and I talk it over with her. And I was a little bit hesitant. If you had to pick one person, and it's everybody knows in this room, who literally talked me into it. Who would you say it was? At the time, he was a referee in Division 2 and 3.
Jimmy Mack?
Huh?
McGonaghy?
Who said McGonaghy? Correct. It was Jim McConaughey. I called Jim, called Cosmo. I said, oh, they're my friends, been my friend for 45 years. Met Jim, Dunkin' Donuts, we had a cup of coffee. He said, take it. You'll do a great job. You'll be excellent at it. I said, why do you say that? He said, you ran your own business. You got money in your pocket. Everybody likes you. He says, you will be the puppy handler and you'll have them coaches like puppies. So with that, I filled out the 2 sheets, called him, I met him again. I took the job with 2 things that they understood. God rest his soul, Tom Farr had to pass away before I'll take over. But I would go to his house because his wife and his daughter was doing all the work. I took all the filing cabinets, took them home, started going through them, and just piled the good, the bad, the ugly. So, took some time, and along with that, they had 2 requests. The 2 requests were, they wanted to try crews, keep the same guys together, and get rid of the name. I said, okay. So what's the name? He said it's Mafia for short. It was the Middle Atlantic Intercollegiate Football Association. That was the name of the football officiating group. So I don't have the logo. Anyways, I got rid of it. So I said to Cosman, who I love to death, he had a sporting goods store. I said, I got to come up with a logo and a name. That logo that you see with the gold post and the green, anybody got an ECFOA shirt?
TC.
Yeah, see that logo in the middle with the whistle and all? Frank Cosman designed that. Frank Cosman designed it, I took it and ran with it. So that's the moral to the Mafia story. Okay? Anything else? Nothing, huh?
Really answer that, John.
What was the hardest thing you've had?
What's that?
What's the hardest part of your job that you have to do?
Well, what did he say? Nah, he's easy. I guess the hardest part is the evaluation of officials, especially when it's a guy that's been with you a long time. And I just did it last year, and the guy's leaving this year. It's kind of hard to substitute. You can't use age, that's discriminatory. You can't use weight. I use weight because a guy can control it, some guys can't, for medical reasons and other. But the problem is it shows up on the film. And you start getting coaches saying, what the hell are you keeping him for? And there's history behind it. And I guess, and I do that one-on-one. Only me does it, nobody else. But I do a lot of compiling before I get to that. I very, very rarely fire anybody. I told somebody tonight at dinner, I let you put the rope around your neck, I let you tie it to the bridge, and I let you jump. I don't even know how to push you. I mean, it's your job for you to keep, it's your job for you to stay here. All the other stuff, the travel and the stuff that you do to keep it, you guys make the organization. You guys make the ECFOA what it is. And I get all the props. But no matter where I go, and I got friends from the NFL all the way down. I mean, he came up to me tonight, and told John Harbaugh he was gonna be with me tonight. And for you who don't know Harbaugh, he's the coach of the Ravens. But I worked with him for 7 years in Philadelphia, him and his brother. So, you know, that relationship goes on. I mean, I got coaches all across the country that started up here in the Northeast and just moved on. I mean, and they move on for some big, big money, you know. The guy at Millersville, he moved on, you know. He went to Syracuse, you know. The guy at Central Connecticut, he went to Texas A&M. He was at Texas A&M 7 months. And the New Orleans Saints guy called him. Now he's in New Orleans. I mean, you know, these guys just move on. He went from Central Connecticut making $160,000 a year. He's making $547,000 a year. But that's the difference. That's the levels. That's what everybody strives to. You know? And it seems like as you go on, things get easier. They don't get harder. They do get easier because I've separated myself from most of the everyday workings, other than when a red light comes up. If you're going to give a guy a job to do, like Bill Reynolds is in charge of all the observers. And he'll only shoot to me, the ones he thinks I need to look at. All the new guys I look at. All the new guys I look at. Even the ones I promote. And, you know, there's certain things, and the Corollas of the world, the Austins of the world, they'll call me and say, yo, where's this guy this week? Where's this guy that week? And I'll send it to him. This guy's at Slippery Rock, this guy's here, this guy's there. You know, and that's how things move on. That's how things get done. Takes time, but it can get done. But you can't start when you're 45 and 50. It's just not going to work anymore. You know, it didn't work in the old days. It sure as hell ain't going to work now. And but football officiating is a great, great avocation. I think I'm taking too much time. I got a long ride. I'm starting to sweat. So, if you guys don't have any questions, all right, I'm going to pack it up and adios. Thank you. God bless and have a good season.
Remember, if you don't get a call from Milt, that's a good thing.
That's a great thing.
However, if it's November and he calls you, it might be a good thing. I remember that call. He called me up, Jonah, Milt, Halstead. I said, oh, shit. He said, no, it ain't bad, it ain't bad. So, he gave me my playoff beard, playoff that year. So, thank you very much for coming and talking to us. Really
That's a good thing, playoffs. They really are.
Yeah.
How many guys in here are not in the CFO? All right, you guys are on a crew. You got to make an effort to get in there. I can't conceal it too much longer. You're not going to be allowed to work playoffs if you're not a member. That's how this. That's how the Philadelphia chapter dissolved. I guess I ruined them. That's the end of that. Hey, good luck. God bless. See you on the road, on the highway, or at the game.
No questions, really?
Hey, Tracy.
Congratulations. What's up? First, we always try to keep this to about 90 minutes, so we've got about 10 minutes left, but I know we started a half hour later tonight. If anyone has to leave, go ahead and go. Don't feel like you gotta stay here and listen to me talk for 10 minutes. But I referenced earlier the 6-3-11 changes that were made. Honestly, we're not sure how it's playing out because until Rogers Reading gives us the answers to the week 1 quiz, which was supposed to have come out today, the interpretation of it is still unclear. So make sure when he gets those answers posted, whether it's later tonight, tomorrow, before your games this week, and in the first half, they shouldn't be enforcing the red line in the second half. Make sure you're talking about it in your pregame. When you're out there before the game starts, make sure it's consistent from one half to the other, from one sideline to the other. You always hear, well, how come he can be out on the white and you're making a stay here? Well, this year you're switching halves. So you make sure both sidelines are consistent. You wings, you deep wings are all talking about where you're going to allow them, where you're not, how much you're going to take before you hit them with that warning or go straight to a foul. And of course, once you switch, make sure your referee's going the right direction with it.
How many of you have had one this year?
Sideline?
Sideline one?
Yeah.
Brendan had one, Pat had one.
Anybody have a delay of game?
Camera, one of the side was backed up and hit the lady with the camera.
Side judge and the field judge. We both did it.
He told
One
him.
in each half? Same camera?
No,
Okay.
both
He
sides.
told him, get back in time, but they kept playing.
That happened before.
That's a beat man.
Yeah, that field wasn't very well marked. I mean, it was just the sideline. There's no tee box or anything.
Yeah, and even, especially before the season, we had it at Navy last week where there had nothing lined. There was no team box, no nothing. And that was the coach's argument was, well, they're set a clear boundary for them. If you have to use the yard markers, if you have them, tell them, this is where they are. This is where you've got to be behind. If all you have is a chain crew and, have your chain crew set up and just tell everyone they've got to be behind the chain crew. Again, set clear boundaries of where they can be and keep checking it and hold them to it. It's now a point of emphasis, and the coaches know it. Early in the season, let's teach them right so the person who has them in week 4 doesn't hear well, they let me be here all season. Right from the start. Now, we don't want to keep hitting them with this, but you do have that warning in your pocket. Use that to protect yourself and to protect them as well. And coaches get injured all the time from officials bumping into them, but it's usually the official that gets hurt because you can't see it coming. So protect yourself. Teach them early, just the same way you would with dead ball officiating. You want to early in a game teach them early what you're not going to accept. We'll do the same thing with your sidelines.
Jeff, talking about that, we were at Keene a week ago, 2 weeks ago, Friday, and Milt was there, and we were going over the sideline, and he did say to the coach after we started talking about you get 1, he said, Roger said it's now 2, you can give them 2 warnings and then the 5.
Well, the first warning is an unofficial warning. The first warning is hey coach, I really don't want to have to do this. The second warning is when you go to the referee and you say, sideline warning.
Okay.
And then you have it flagged. Oh yeah, you should not, the first time you have an issue on the sideline, you should not go to the referee and say, this is my sideline warning. You've got to say something first. The same way as, you guys that work on the wing, you have a tackle that creeps back a little bit. You usually talk to him first. You warn him. You go up and say something to him. And then maybe you'll talk to the offensive line coach and say, hey coach, your tackle's creeping back a little bit. And then you do that. But so yes, technically you do have 2 warnings, but you just be careful with it.
There's another point to what Milt said at that Keene scrimmage. Okay, there's a warning, then there's the next instance is a 5-yard. The next instance after that is a 5-yard, and then 15 written in the rule book. That is not what Milt told us. He said there'll be 2 warnings. The third occurrence will be a 5-yard, and the fourth occurrence will be a 15-yarder. So it's a completely different.
You told us the same thing at Lebanon Valley at our scrimmage. So we may need some clarification from.
Well, what he wants you to do, keep yourself out of trouble. Again, back to last year's theme of keeping yourself out of trouble. I'm a wing guy. I'm having trouble. Hey, ref, come on, get over here. I'm having trouble here. I've talked to the guy 3 times. Coach, we don't want to go there. There's your first warning. That's like business management 101. That's the first warning. Second time it's going to be, hold on, tweet. For the public to see now. sideline warning, and it's like, dude, we told you. So the first one's kind of the unofficial official. So again, don't overthink it. Keep yourself out of trouble.
The other thing I would recommend is use the sideline warning to your advantage if you're on the other side of the field. We had one the other night, called a sideline warning on the other side. I immediately went to my get back coach, and I said, look, you're ahead of the game now. I said, because obviously you're doing a better job than he is of keeping the team back. And that just gets into that little bit of psyche that we all use, because now he's thinking, okay, maybe I am doing a better job. So now he may work a little bit harder to keep that team back. And every once in a while during the game, talk to your get-back coach and tell him, hey, coach, you're doing a great job. I'd work this sideline any game. I mean, you guys are you know, let him know. Make him feel appreciated. And that's going to help you in the long run.
Speak about appreciation. I told my get-back coach in a scrimmage, I said, can I take you on a road? Can you come with me? Because look, I see my grandkids. I haven't seen them all year. Man, they really enjoy that. They really do work harder. They help you stay out of trouble.
We're using that sideline interference thing, correct? There's not official sideline warning, that's NFL.
Warning is not in our book, we have interference.
We're using interference.
What are you
There's
using?
a CFO. Interference for the warning is a warning. Silent interference, delay game.
Delay game.
Or I guess you just go.
When you do the 5, you're doing delay, is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Do silent interference, delay game, both signals.
Once we give them a 5 yard.
Once you get 5 yards.
And you're doing this, you are doing this for the
I am
one?
doing this for a warning.
And then for the 15, are you going
straight?
And that came from Terry, who writes the book, or?
Say it again. Repeat that.
So the first one is sideline warning.
Right.
You know.
So you give the interference signal and then give the old Federation warning signal, right? Okay.
And then second one, delay game. Sideline interference, delay game, whoever bench. And then another delay game, right? Silent interference, delay game, second one. And then unsportsmanlike conduct.
So no sideline interference signal?
No, just the.
Do you turn your back to the press box when you get?
No. Two things though. One, you keep your teams at 6 feet, right?
No.
No.
Why not?
Teams are 12.
Coaches are 6.
I'm sorry. So what do I mean? 6.
That's mine. That's yours. That's theirs.
Right.
2 yards,
Second
2
one.
yards.
Sorry. So you keep the team back there. What we've noticed is we get onto coach or players coming into that area or coming out. Coaches are appreciative. Coaches have become very appreciative of this because now they have room to work. They have now their white. We have our white. They have their white that they can freely walk up and down and not have to worry about players or coming out on the field trying to get around players. They are more appreciative than we are about this. So we haven't had any issue with this.
No, again, you work with people, people will work with you, and, you know, work with the players. The coaches will be surprised because they don't have to run into their players. Keep them out of trouble. So.
And you always can go straight to 15 if you've got big contact. You don't have to, he knocks you down, it's, well, this is your warning. No, they've earned it. You can go right to the 15 with that.
I can send out a little matrix thing that shows if you just have no interference with your duties, you give them a sideline warning. And then you go through the process. Sideline warning, delay game, 15. If you got interference, all right, you run into a coach, something like that, you could go straight to 15, or you could just go straight to 5. If it's just you had to run around the guy, you can go straight to 5. You don't need to have to give a sideline warning. If they're berating you or arguing a call and they come out on the field, it's automatic 15. Once they berate you, what we've been told is everything after that is 15 as well. Once they've crossed that line, berating you and you've had to throw a 15-yard foul, we're staying 15 from then on. They cross that line. So do what your conference tells you.
Is contact separate from the warning though? Like if you run into a coach, you could still go back to a warning from that, right?
Sure.
Yeah, yes, you can, yes, you can. Right.
That's
It's the
independent-
one
that's
where he comes
independent.
out and rates you, that, we don't have any tolerance for.
Our other points of emphasis, again, player conduct, you've got your automatics, we're not going to allow, this year, added, which we should have already been doing, is that stepping over the guy, whether he points down or not, if he makes a point to straddle him, or as Brendan
Terry.
wants me to say, he wants me to announce teabagging.
Yeah. Say Terry alluded to that.
Just say TV.
That's an automatic foul. I don't know what the signal is for teabagging, but again, it is a point of emphasis, and it more so, that player out in space who does one of those things, he's drawing attention to himself, that one is your automatic foul. Everyone in the stadium can see it. He's earned it. It's more so the guys coming off the sideline, or coaches or players coming off the sideline to celebrate. It's that play that happens, the big hit right out by the numbers, and three guys come out and they're jumping up and down. That is the one that we should be hitting. Again, it's an emotional game. We want to allow it to be an emotional game, but they have to be emotional within the rules. If they're doing things that take them out of the rules, that are self-congratulatory, drawing attention to themselves, or someone coming out on the field when they shouldn't be, that's when we're going to hit them with the penalties. And make sure you're looking at your points of emphasis as you enter your games this week. Whether your crew, your referee is deciding to talk about them or not, make sure you bring them up. Again, a good idea to take a look at all the rule changes. 6-3-11 is the big one that is going to be explained to us hopefully before we hit the field this week. It's new to all of us, and kind of snuck in. So, any other questions? I noticed after Milt left, we have a great question for him that no one could ask while he was here. You know where to reach us. Next month, we'll go back to our 6:30 time slot. We have this